Police corruption is a major problem in the United States. Some police officers turn bad to make money through ripping off drug dealers and even dealing drugs themselves. Some try and cover up their own acts of brutality, murder, and even torture. Police corruption happens in New York, Los Angeles, New Orleans, and every major U.S. city and is conducted by officers of all races and colors. Here is our list of the top 5 most corrupt U.S. police officers of all time. 5. Luis Ippolito and Stephen Caracappa. Luis Ippolito and Stephen Caracappa worked for the NYPD, but in reality, they worked for the mafia. Caracappa was a member of the organized crime homicide unit investigating the very people he was working for. The two former partners were taking orders for the Lucchese crime family and served as hitmen as well as moles in the NYPD. In 2006, Ippolito and Caracappa were convicted of racketeering, obstruction of justice, extortion, and 8 counts of murder and conspiracy. 4. Joseph Mijanowski. Joseph Mijanowski was a Chicago police officer labeled as the most corrupt cop. Mijanowski served as both police officer and drug kingpin, using his knowledge of the streets and gangs to shake down drug dealers. For most of his 22-year career, Mijanowski would run the Chicago gangs unit, while running his own drug gang at the same time. Mijanowski would be convicted of 10 counts, including drug conspiracy and racketeering, in 2001. 3. David Mack and Rafael Perez. David Mack and Rafael Perez worked together for the LAPD Rampart Division, but also worked for Death Row Records and were members of the Bloods gang. Mack would receive the LAPD Medal of Honor for killing a drug dealer who allegedly pulled a gun on him. But he would also later be convicted of robbing a bank and be implicated in the murder of rapper Notorious Big. Perez shot and framed an unarmed gang member during his tenure and stole 8 pounds of cocaine from an LAPD evidence locker. 2. John Berg. John Berg is a former Chicago Police Department detective who oversaw the torture of hundreds of black men resulting in false confessions between 1972 and 1991. Berg would burn suspects with radiators and cigarettes and electrocute their testicles. Although Berg was protected by the statute of limitations for his crimes, he was convicted for lying about the torture in January of this year. 1. Robert Guasavius, Kenneth Bowen, and Anthony Villavaso. Robert Guasavius, Kenneth Bowen, and Anthony Villavaso were members of the New Orleans Police Department during Hurricane Katrina. They were charged with first-degree murder for killing 17-year-old James Brissett, who was innocent and unarmed during Hurricane Katrina on the Danziger Bridge. Brissett was simply looking for shelter in the hurricane and cops pounced on him. Bowen, Guasavius, Falcon, Villavaso were found guilty of falsifying reports and false prosecution in the conspiracy to cover up the shooting and may face the death penalty.
Like and subscribe.